Good morning and welcome. We are so pleased that you could join us today. We've got some really exciting product announcements to share with you. As we all continue to make our way through these difficult times and face the challenges that COVID-19 is causing in our communities around the world, it's so inspiring how people everywhere have adapted, working remotely, learning from home, and gathering virtually to stay close to family and friends. And it's been gratifying to see the important role our products have played in helping people come together, carry on, and move forward. We know that life won't always be like this, and we're all looking forward to better days.
Hello and welcome to Connected episode 312. It's made possible this week by our sponsors, Smile, ExpressVPN, and Riedel. My name is Stephen Hackett, and I'm joined by Mr. Federico Viticci.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, man.
Hi.
We're also joined by Mr. Mike Hurley.
Of course you are. Hello.
Hi.
Well, what does it mean, of course you are?
Yeah, what does that mean?
I'm always here.
Yeah, what's the implication there?
He said, and we're joined by Mike Hurley. And I'm like, yeah, I am. I haven't taken any time off. I don't take time off.
How do you feel on this special day, Mike?
I've come to accept my absolute 100% devastation. I lost the draft with Jason yesterday, and I'm not feeling good about my chances of keeping my title today. But I'm looking forward to absolutely annihilating the annual picks. That's how I feel. So
Sure.
still got that in my future. Absolute complete annihilation of the
better.
annual picks. Yeah, that's where I'm going.
It makes you feel better.
And I'm sure that, like last time, I'll win the annual picks and then for some reason won't get given any accolade for that because we'll create some kind of trophy afterwards because that's what happened last time. But, you know, we'll see.
What is an accolade?
Yeah, that's a big word.
It's,
I can't help you.
English.
I can't
Don't
help
brag.
you.
It sounds like lemonade made out of avocados.
Wait, do
No,
you
it
guys
sounds
not
like-
know the word accolades?
It
I
sounds
do.
like a beverage made with cola.
I was going
It's
to
an
say, is that
accolade.
not in your AP style guide, Stephen?
Does it mean
Let
a
me go.
prize?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
An award, trophy.
It's avocado lemonade. It's avocado. It's fizzy avocado juice.
I
Accolade.
can't imagine anything worse, and I like avocados.
Refreshing. Accolade. It's what all the millennials drink. They drink Accolade.
The big avocado seed can stop up the top of the can. You got to look out for that.
You think that you've run out, but really it's just the big pit.
Has anybody ever tried to smash the big avocado seed with a hammer? See what happens? Like what's inside that
When
thing?
you say anybody, do you mean any of the three of us or like anyone in life?
Any of the three of us or in the Discord, like has anybody ever tried to break it and see what it looks like
What
inside?
is in there? I don't know what's in there.
Let's Google it. Inside.
The cross section of avocado.
Well, this is kind of boring.
Oh,
it
it's
just looks like
terrible.
another smaller avocado.
What's inside of that one? An even smaller avocado.
It looks like a chestnut or something. What is
it's
it?
not very fun at all, is it? I was hoping to,
It's
like
not fun. It's not fun. It's not gross either.
no, like it was like 25 tiny avocados inside.
Do you
That
think you
would've been
can
horrible.
eat it if you slice it real thin?
No, I bet it's well. I mean, you could try, but I bet it would like break your tooth or something.
I bet it tastes bad too.
That thing's like super tough, you know. Yeah, I bet it tastes real bad. Keeping our usual tradition, it was an Apple event yesterday, and we're talking about what's the inside of an avocado seed.
Avocado. Yeah, this is a very busy week, the Apple event, but it's also
Yeah,
a
you could
busy
say that.
week. 2 days from now, on Friday, Mike and I will be hosting Podcastathon 2, a 6-hour live show on Twitch. So we're on video doing a bunch of wacky stuff to raise money for St. Jude. As of this recording, yesterday we crossed $200,000 raised this year, which is
Unbelievable.
just fantastic. If you haven't donated yet, head on over to stjude.org/relay.
Although I will say, like, if you have a donation you want to make, like, maybe keep it for the podcastathon now. We're so close, you know, and we've reached such an incredible milestone. If you're only going to donate once, you should donate more than once. You're going to donate once, tune into the podcastathon and donate then. right? That doesn't seem like a terrible thing to say. Just give the money.
I mean, as long as they do it.
Yeah, that's what I said. You got to give the money. That's the promise.
You got to do it. It's not an excuse not to do it.
No, you got to do it. But or make 2 or 3 donations. But
and when you donate during the podcast-a-thon, funny things will happen to me and Mike.
Yep.
Mike, you have blown up about a billion balloons.
Yep.
In your office that are gonna.
And every time somebody donates, I believe it's going to be $100. One more balloon will be added to the balloon room, and periodically through the podcast-a-thon, I will be inside of the balloon room, and you will be able to see how the balloon room is filling. It is like a very large, very inconvenient, barometer of donations.
Shall we call it the balloon or the baroom? Just because it feels very inefficient to call it balloon room. So pick one of the two.
Baroom or balloon?
So balloon or baroom?
I like balloon, but with all of these things, I'm always like, okay, I need to check that isn't like some kind of horrifically insensitive word in like some language or something, you know? So if I just balloon... Balloon is an independent Japanese record label created in 2011, so that one's not too bad.
Okay, what kind of wait? What kind of music did they produce?
Oh, that's a good point. Vocaloid music.
Oh, okay.
Baroom is I can see a cocktail bar in France.
It's also, according to the dictionary, BARROOM. A room where alcoholic drinks are served?
Yeah, like a bar room.
Like a bar room.
Yeah, you see?
Oh.
Bar room.
Bar room.
I think I like balloon.
Balloon is funnier, I think.
Because also people could think you're saying balloon, but you're not, and that's funny. And like, is he saying balloon right?
Is he saying balloon? Is he saying balloon with an M?
Is he saying balloon? So I think we're gonna go with balloon.
I too will be having a way to count our progress. It has been a construction project now for almost a month that y'all will all see on Friday. No spoilers.
Yep. It's not balloons, but it is somewhat similar in nature, I think is fair to say, right? Like things go inside of another thing.
You've already said too much.
Okay, sorry. Federico's going to be there too. Should we say what we're going to do?
Yeah.
All right, so you know how we play the Jeremies every year, and the Jeremies, in case you don't remember, everybody should remember our naming scheme for everything.
Sure.
But for some reason they don't.
What's wrong with you if you don't?
Yeah, but the Jeremies is where we select, we show Federico all of the new emoji that Apple have designed for iOS, and Federico has to try and guess the names of these emojis, having never seen them before. So Federico hides away from the emoji. Now, we can't play the Jeremies, but we thought, considering Federico always has to be on that side of the game, why not turn the tables and we'll play the game on Steven for what I think I will judge the Ashies. We are going to show Steven a selection of Pokemon for which Steven must guess the names. That is what we are going to be doing during Federico's segment of the podcast-a-thon. So make sure you tune in for that, for the first ever Ashies. And let me tell you, Steven, you're in for quite a time because me and Federico picked a bunch, and there's some that he sent to me that I feel like I have literally never seen. And I don't know how that's possible because I have played every Pokemon game.
Okay, so Mike, I talked to you about this, but I feel like you didn't talk to Federico about it. So I'm going to go right to the source. Can I guess their powers or abilities? And like that be
there are no powers in Pokemon, there are abilities. So, I mean, good luck with that if you want to guess the abilities.
Steven suggested this to me, and I wondered why he wanted to make it harder for himself. But yeah, if you want to guess their names and take a stab at what they are capable of, go for it.
I feel like the abilities are almost, the names are just words, right? Like most of them are made up, but the abilities are like things that they can do.
There are some phonetic...
there are some that like you could conceivably guess them.
Yeah.
But you might just have to work out the system.
Yeah, like wordplay, that kind of stuff.
So that's what we're going to be doing.
Are there any like easy ones? Like ones I'm guaranteed to get?
Yes.
There are some easy ones, just to put you in the mood.
Yeah.
But then it's an absolute disaster for you.
Yeah, it's like there's a couple that you'll get, and then about 20 you definitely won't. So good luck to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want you
one.
to try and describe the Pokemon you're looking at, and then try to come up with.
Okay.
I mean, at least guess a name. Like try and put yourself in the Pokemon Company's shoes. If you were in charge of naming this creature, what would you name it? So I guess if you really can't guess, you can at least try that.
So make sure you tune in on Friday, September 18th from 2 to 8 p.m. Eastern. That's not going to be the entire length of this game we're playing. There will be lots of different things.
Yes,
But,
lots of things.
Lots and lots of great
And
stuff.
just by the way, from the Discord, they're pointing out that Balloon sounds like Pokemon,
It
which is
does. It
absolutely
definitely,
true.
definitely does.
I also, if you're on the Twitch page for the next couple of days at least, there's a stream for This Old Mac, which is this joke that I had in my Mac Pro stream, and then Gray and Mike made me do it, where I took apart Casey Liss's white MacBook on camera and just talked about it and showed people how it came apart, and I put it all back together, and it was fun. I think it may be something that I do probably on Twitch. It's not like a full-blown like 512 video with B-roll and fancy cameras and stuff, but I think it'd be a fun thing to do sometimes.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
So the two URLs you need to know, stjude.org/relay, and then on Friday, twitch.tv/relayfm. You can follow the Relay FM Twitter account. We'll be posting there on Friday, reminders and updates, kind of what's going on. So yeah, it's a big week. I'm really excited.
So today, we're going to talk about this later, but iOS 14, WatchOS 7, tvOS 14 coming out today. We'll talk about that later in the show. And I guess we'll also get an official update from Federico Viticci on what's going on with the review. But obviously, everybody is waiting for us to judge the Rickies. So I guess it is time. Do we want to recap the rules?
Just listen to last week's show.
It was mostly rules.
It was. That was a very long chapter.
Very good rules, by the way. This is
The best rules.
I go back and listen to that segment. You may think you may think you know the rules, but you don't really know our rules until you listen to the latest version of them. So that
It's
would be
like
my
Apple, really.
recommendation. Yeah.
And even though we've just clarified them, they're still open to some level of interpretation. Again, just like Apple.
Well, that's your opinion.
Round 1, normal picks. We will each read out our picks, and I guess
Okay.
we can grade them because we should all know the truth of each pick. I said Apple unveils a new Apple Watch, and they did.
Oh no,
It's
you
the-
didn't. Wow.
And they did, and it's the Series 6, and I was correct.
This is the new Apple Watch Series 6, the perfect combination of powerful features and beautiful design. Series 6 is our most colorful lineup ever. There's a new blue aluminum case, this updated classic gold stainless steel finish, a new gray-black stainless steel called Graphite, and for the first time, a stunning new Apple Watch product red. Now on the inside, Series 6 is packed with incredible technology, including a new health sensor that enables an amazing new capability. Let's take a look. With Apple Watch Series 6, you can measure your blood oxygen right from your wrist. The new health sensor in Series 6 shines red and infrared light onto your wrist and measures the amount of light reflected back. Advanced algorithms use this data to calculate the color of your blood, which indicates the amount of oxygen present. The new Blood Oxygen app lets you take a measurement in just 15 seconds.
I piggybacked on that and said the Apple Watch Series 6 will use the Series 4 and 5 design.
You're giving yourself 3 bells you got for yourself there. I don't know why you got 3. I only got 1. I heard. Why do you get 3?
Well, we didn't read the rules. If we had read the rules, you would know what the different bells signify.
So should we stop and talk about this Apple Watch a little bit before we move on to Federico's pick?
I find it to be a very interesting year for the Apple Watch. The Series 5 was so good with the always on display. For a lot of us, that really changed how we feel about the Apple Watch. The Series 6 builds on that. And I think the headline here is the blood oxygen sensor, which is cool. It lets them do a lot of fitness tracking with VO2 Max and all these other things that we can just pretend we all understand.
Is VO2 Max the bigger version of VO2, like the iPhone? Is that how they do that?
Yeah.
So they have regular VO2 and then VO2 Max if you have big oxygen.
And the VO2 Mini won't get updated and everyone will be sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it used to be called VO2 Plus. But they changed the name since. So, yeah.
What do you two think of the Apple Watch Series 6? I'm going to be honest, I kind of don't care about it. Like, it doesn't, I'm not excited at all, really. Plus, I'm a little bitter because they got rid of ceramic, which I really like. But.
So help me understand here, Mike. You are now wearing an Apple Watch again.
On and off, yeah.
Okay.
It's in my rotation of watches. So, like, I have like a small selection of watches. The Apple Watch is one of them, and sometimes I want to wear the Apple Watch, but I wear the Apple Watch as a choice for how I'm feeling, or if I think it will match what I'm wearing on a day, or whatever, or my mood. Right, like I make the choice to wear the Apple Watch like any other watch. When I do wear the Apple Watch, it is permanently on Do Not Disturb.
Got it. Okay.
Not a very good Apple Watch user, to be honest. But I do wear this one. I do wear it. I maybe once every couple of weeks I'll put it on, but that's kind of what I do. I wear each of my watches for like a week at a time or whatever.
But you wouldn't say you are enthusiastic about the Apple Watch?
No, not really. Actually, not at all. No.
Actually, I kind of hate it.
Actually, I'm going to throw this thing straight in the trash. No, I personally don't feel a great need for the majority of features that most people really enjoy about their Apple Watches. Right? Like, that's kind of just how I feel about the Apple Watch now.
Is it safe to assume then that we're still gonna, all the three of us, we're gonna get a Series 6?
I mean, it doesn't sound like Mike is.
Did you just hear what I see? Were you listening to what I said? Why do you think it's safe to assume
But I still think you're gonna get one.
No, I'm not going to get one.
You sure?
No, because they've removed the only case style that I like, which is ceramic. Like, I don't like...
And you sure you're not gonna get the blue one or the red one?
I like the blue one, but I don't want it. But, like, so the only reason I got the Series 5 was because they added the always-on display, right? If they had never added the always-on display, I never would have bought it. And the Series 6 adds no functionality that I'm interested in. It's like I didn't buy the Series 4 either, right? I like the look of the Series 4, but I didn't get it because after I bought one for my wife, I wore it for like a day just to try it out and didn't like that the screen went off. So I was like, I don't want this. I like the Series 5 because I can see the screen all the time, and that was fantastic. But the Series 6 adds no functionality that I personally want, so I'm not going to get one.
Yet I still don't believe you. I still think you're going to get one. Steven is going to get one. Steven for sure. I think Steven for sure is going to get one. I know I'm getting one.
Yeah, but I'm not going to get one. You want to put some money on this?
Yeah, we'll see about that. I need to think about it.
Okay.
You do seem pretty convinced yourself.
I am convinced. I am.
Yeah, but you change your mind often.
I do change my mind, yeah.
So here's a way to look at it, Mike. If heaven forbid, you smashed your Apple Watch, accidentally, and it was too expensive to fix, would you replace it, or would you live without it?
I'd live without it.
What if someday you wake up and you have that urge, that craving for a blue watch,
right?
And it needs to be satisfied, right? What happens in that case?
I would go to a regular watch website and find a blue watch.
Nah, that's boring. That's that.
Any particular reason that's boring?
Let's see in 3 months.
All right.
I really feel like it's. I mean, I know that the only new sensor is the blood oxygen monitoring thing. But I just feel like the new colors and the brighter screen, they just feel like really nice updates, even though it's not like a radical design change.
No, like, look, I'm not saying that it is a bad update for everyone. It's just the updates they have made are not things that I am particularly that focused on. Okay. If I was an everyday Apple Watch wearer, there would be enough in here for me to go ahead and get it. But as it stands right now, I can't see any reason why I would want this product. Like, even if they had said something like, this wouldn't be it for me, but like if the battery life had gotten a lot better, like that might be a thing, but it hasn't, which I'm quite surprised about. So I don't see, I don't have a need for this product.
I'm getting one. I'm
Right.
thinking about the color still. I think I'll just
Okay.
go plain boring.
So you haven't ordered it yet, then?
No.
Okay.
What do you have now, Federico?
I have the Series 5 with these. I think it's called the stainless steel with the gold finish.
What do you think about the new gold finish? It's like yellow. It's gone back to yellow gold and stainless steel.
I haven't actually looked at the website at all.
Right.
So I'm
Why?
gonna do this
You busy?
now. Why? Why I
you-
haven't looked?
Yeah. You too
Because I was
busy?
busy and I forgot. Yeah. Why do you say that with that kind of tone?
Because I'm referencing a little joke about the fact that you're obviously very busy right now.
Yes, I
So
am
it's
very
like a-
busy.
Right. So like it's like a wink, wink. Haha, Federico's so busy.
So okay. What's different? I guess it's more yellow than
It's,
before.
yeah, they actually
Yeah.
refer to it as like yellow gold, right? Because they had
It's
like a rosy
yellower.
gold before. And you see
Yeah.
like the aluminium has retained the rosiness, but the stainless steel gold is more of a yellow gold, which
Yeah,
I
don't like it.
personally don't like.
I don't like it. I don't like
I
it.
like the
What's the
rosy
regular
gold.
steel? Yeah, probably regular steel this time then.
My favorite
Um,
thing about the color options is that they have introduced another dark color and given it another new name. So they have a color in stainless steel called graphite, and I don't know why they've done that. Right? Like, why is this just not space gray?
And the titanium one is now space black, which used to be the dark stainless steel.
What?
I
I don't know why
understand.
graphite is a thing that exists now.
Mm-hmm.
This is very confusing. to
Okay,
me.
so I see the graphite is the new steel color.
Steel. Yeah.
So it's called graphite, but it's not made of graphite. It's made of steel, and graphite
Mhm.
is the color. Okay.
Correct.
Imagine a watch made of graphite, actual graphite. That would be fun.
What would that be hard? I don't really feel like I know enough about graphite. What would that? What properties would I get from a graphite watch?
I don't know. I don't
No?
think it can exist. No, I think I'll just go with regular stainless steel. The new gold finish is too gold. I preferred the rose tint
Right.
from last year. And the aluminum watch, I don't want to get an aluminum watch because I don't know, I just gotten used to the steel one.
The
and
weight.
The aluminum.
You got used to the weight. Do you like the weight?
I do.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
I
And
understand
the
that.
other one just feels kind of cheap at this point. Like
Mhm.
a few weeks ago, I put on Sylvia's watch. She's using the Series 4 aluminum rose gold, whatever it was called. And
Does
it
she
just
have the
feels
smaller one than you too?
Yeah, she does. But even then, like the material it just feels kind of cheap compared to the steel one. So I'm sticking with steel, but the gold finish I don't like.
No, I don't like the gold. If you guys scroll down, look at the Hermes watch. They introduced this new band, and I think it makes the watch look ridiculous.
I
Like-
want the double tour.
No, they always have double tour. This is, I think, it's attelage is the style of band where the lugs are like in the middle, like they don't go all the way to the edges, and it makes the watch look like the size of a billboard.
Okay,
It's
how
very
do-
strange.
Where do I find
So
this?
you go to apple.com/shop/buy-watch/apple-watch, which is that memorable URL that everybody knows.
watch,
Or if you just click the buy page, you go to this
buy.
page of just an obscene amount of Apple Watches they put on this page.
Oh my.
You scroll down
Which
enough
one?
and you'll get to the Hermes one. You keep going. It's like the big picture of it they have it on the page. And I think it looks really not nice. I don't like it. It's a very peculiar look. Underscore also put a picture in
Hermes.
the Discord if you're
So
listening
which
live.
one don't you like?
The Attelage Double Tour.
Attelage double tour.
Do you see what I'm saying? So like the lugs,
What is this?
which like the little like metal parts that attach to the band, they are way more towards the center than the edges of the regular
Oh
bands.
my. Yeah.
And it looks really weird. That's all I
Wow.
have to say on the matter.
Yeah.
But it's not nice, right? It makes the watch look like it's too big or something. It's a very strange design. But
It's a
I've
very
always
strange
found the
look.
Hermes watch a weird thing anyway. So
I would just buy, honestly, I would just buy this one just to say the word double.
if you just bought 2 Apple Watch bands and
Sure.
connected them together, you could turn
I can
any
s-
band into a double tour.
Yeah. I can say I have the double band.
You could say you have the double tour sport band.
Double.
Just get 2 of them.
How do the French say sport? Do they just say sport?
Don't know, man.
Double
Dunno.
sportif. Is that something they would say?
Maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, let's go with that. Double sportif. That's what you have. That's what you have. It's a one-off Federico
This
version.
is a serious Apple podcast where we just sometimes.
All right. So, do we have anything more to say on the Apple Watch? Maybe we'll come back to it in a little bit more detail later. But do we want to move on with your first pick, Federico?
Wow, you're just gonna skip over me and what I'm gonna do with the Apple Watch?
Oh, what are you doing?
Harsh.
Well, we just all
Harsh.
assumed you're buying one.
Good job. You picked correctly. It's using the
Yes,
same
I
design.
did.
It's good.
Yep.
Good job.
Yeah, I've got the Series 5 in titanium, which I really like, but it was really expensive. Really, what I should do, because I generally upgrade every year, is I should go to aluminum, and I actually like the lightweightness of it, but I've had 2 aluminum watches over the years, and I scratch the screens to Kingdom Come. Like they're just, that ion glass is not scratch resistant enough for me, which is why I've gone nicer, because you get the sapphire. And my titanium watch a year later, I mean, looking at it now, other than one little nick in the corner, it looks brand new. Like no scratches, no scuffs. It's really held up well. I really like the titanium, but that's a lot of money for a year-over-year update. So for now, I'm sitting out.
No, I guarantee that Steven's going to get one. Like, we can say about me, but like, I talk about Mr. Flip Flop over here, right? You on board with this, Federico?
What? Am I
That
on board
Steven's
with
going to
what?
buy one?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mr. Flip Flop.
I don't even know what we're arguing about these things anymore.
Well, because I am not going to get one.
This whole dance of Willie or Wani, like, he's gonna get one. Just give him time.
Oh, by the way, I bought an iPad Mini today.
Oh,
Yes!
Well, I think you're gonna like it. It's a very
I didn't
nice
buy
device.
it for the reasons that you have one, but I did buy one.
Can I tell people how this happened? Because
Yeah.
you guys give me a lot of trouble for justifying purchases. But this morning in our group thread, I'm just scrolling up because I want to read exactly what you wrote. Normally we don't do this. Normally this is private, but I want to read what you wrote. Basically, like, well, now I can't find. There's so many text messages in here.
What do you want? You should have come prepared.
Okay, so here it is. So I want a screen during the podcast-a-thon to have that's always on, showing me the live stream, blah, blah, blah.
No,
I can
blah,
only
blah,
think,
blah, 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 blah. The reason. You're saying I had no reason. You've just blah, 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 the reason.
but I want it to be small so it doesn't distract me. I can only think of the iPad mini as a good use case, but I don't have one. If I was going to get one, help me for what I could use it for. And then we suggested things like smart home controller and reading, and we tipped you over the edge.
I decided today I needed another screen during the podcast-a-thon. I only have a small space that it can go on the cart that I have all of the gear on that's being moved from place to place, because I also need to be able to make sure I can see what's going on the live stream. Because on the laptop that I'm using, that's where I'm going to be seeing like the video call, right? And I didn't have a computer that would fit in that space because I don't have my iPads are too big. Plus, I need them for the podcast-a-thon itself. And so then I was thinking, well, do I have a phone that can do this with? I was like, yeah, but none of them can stand up. And I thought about getting a stand for a phone, but I was like, I don't know what I would use that would give me a big enough screen. So because I need to be able to see the screen from far enough away when I'm in what was we going with, Balloon? It was Balloon, right?
Balloon.
Yep. When I'm in Balloon, I need to be able to see the screen, so it needs to be big enough, but I don't want it to be so big that it's distracting me. And the iPad Mini seemed like the perfect use case for that. So I wanted to get one for that, but then I was like, well, I don't want to just buy it and use it for this one thing, so help me think of other things that I could use it for. And then Steven recommended a smart home controller and stuff like that, which would actually be really useful for the studio, so the iPad will live in the studio and can be used for things to be done here. So yeah, I did need justification and from the both of you, but there was a genuine reason behind it. And I just thought that I would say, like, this is the Apple product that I bought after the September event was an iPad Mini.
Yeah, where they specifically avoided the fact that the iPad Mini exists.
Yeah. I bought the gold one with one of the blue cases, the light blue cases. I think it's going to look really nice.
Oh yeah, that's what I have on mine. The blue, the light blue smart cover. I really like it.
The nice thing about the iPad Mini is that you end up finding reasons to use it once
Right.
you get one, because
Right.
it's just nice to hold and to use. So I think you may have a specific purpose for it right now this week, but I think you will end up using it for more things once you realize just how cute and convenient it is.
I'm interested to go on their journey, and I will report back in a future episode about what other things I use it for.
Yeah.
All right, Federico, what was your round one pick?
So I said at least one of the new non-Pro iPads will have an iPad Pro inspired design. And the sub-clause here was the flat sides are key. So obviously, yes, thank you. The base model iPad was also announced with no design change, so it still looks like an old iPad. But the new iPad Air has that iPad Pro design with the liquid retina display and the flat edges and support for the Magic Keyboard and Apple Pencil 2. So obviously, iPad Pro inspired design. And yeah, that was my first pick.
Do we want to talk about the iPad now or come back? Let's come back to the iPad, actually, because we've got a lot of picks in the next
later.
round for the
Yes.
iPad.
Yes.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by TextExpander from our friends over at Smile. TextExpander removes the repetition out of work so you can focus on what matters most. Say goodbye to repetitive text entry, spelling, and message errors, and trying to remember the right things to say. Because when you use TextExpander, you can say the right thing in just a few keystrokes. It's better than copy and paste, it's better than scripts, and it's better than templates. TextExpander snippets allow you to maximize your time by getting rid of the repetitive things you type while still customizing and personalizing your messages. So I've got this thing I have to do every couple of weeks at Relay. I pay people. And some people, the way that we pay them has a very specific text and like the memo of the payment. And if it's off by a single letter, the payment processor declines it. It's a real pain in the rear. So I have a TextExpander snippet that is a drop down. So I type my little keystrokes and I get right there by where my mouse is a drop down. I can pick who I'm paying and it autofills the correct text. So I know that it is going to be correct from now on. And I can just move on with my day. Don't have to remember them. I don't have to copy and paste them out of a Google Doc. TextExpander is just there, being helpful all the time. And it can be used on any platform, any app, basically anywhere you type. So take your time back and increase your productivity. Connected listeners get 20% off their first year by visiting textexpander.com/podcast. That's textexpander.com/podcast for 20% off your first year. Our thanks to TextExpander from Smile for their support of the show and Relay FM.
So my second pick was that Apple unveils a new iPad, not Pro. And we got, kind of like 1.5, right? So we got the new iPad Air and also the quite boring iPad 8th generation, but cool that it still exists. It's a good price.
Users love our iPad 7th generation because it delivers a beautiful 10.2-inch Retina display with support for Apple Pencil and the full-size Smart Keyboard, all in a thin, light, and affordable design. And our customers love all the things they can do with it, from taking notes as they learn something new to playing their favorite game. So this year, we're taking its beloved design and cranking up the performance with this. The new iPad 8th generation. It's more capable than ever, and it starts with the A12 Bionic.
I'm not begrudging its existence. I think it is a great product to exist at the price that it's at. I think it's great, but it's not an exciting product, right? Like it doesn't. Whose fire is it lighting on this show?
Okay, that's what I wanted to get to because it is an important product, and I think that it's. I think you're probably right that it got a lot more time than it deserved. It is weird that they updated this now. Like, this is an education purchase. I mean, they kind of aim it towards education. It's $299 for schools, which is still a lot of money. But like, why are you updating it in September when they're not going to buy anything for schools until April or May? Like, I just feel like this product, like Apple needs to decide if it's for the public or if it's for education, and trying to do both on a fall release schedule just doesn't work for anybody. All right, up next, I said that at least one new non-Pro iPad would switch to USB-C.
Yeah, I had a lot of doubt in that.
We said it was kind of risky, even for a regular pick. So good job in believing your assumptions.
I think that
Steven.
this pick is like how we were saying, me and Federico thought it was risky because it seemed like too much too soon. This iPad Air feels, the whole product I could describe as it feels too much too soon to me. Like it has taken such a leap towards the iPad Pro and past it in some areas. I'm very surprised about this product. It feels almost too good in the lineup.
The new iPad Air starts with a gorgeous design. The all-new thin and light enclosure and narrow border design features a beautiful all-screen display. Each element of iPad Air is meticulously crafted, from the precisely machined top button to the sculpted detail around the camera. And the new iPad Air design comes in 5 gorgeous colors, including a new rose gold, green, and sky blue finish. Our customers are going to love these colors. And this new design features a stunning liquid retina display. In the same footprint as the previous Air, the new iPad Air features a larger 10.9-inch liquid retina display with a resolution of 2360 by 1640. To give our customers this beautiful all-screen design meant finding a new home for one of the most popular features, Touch ID. So we designed a next-generation Touch ID and integrated it right into the top button.
I am very excited about this about the iPad Air. I think it's a very compelling product. We have an entire episode of Adapt, Ryan and I, coming out tomorrow.
Nice.
Where we discuss about the iPad Air in the context of, we both use the iPad Pro. But I think it's very exciting and it's a very compelling product in 2020 to be able to have, considering, something that Apple also said at the beginning of the event, all these people now, unfortunately, working from home and having to communicate from home, to create from home, to have all of those key iPad Pro features, like the second generation pencil, like the new liquid retina display, like the Magic Keyboard, all those things coming to an iPad that is much cheaper than an iPad Pro. That removes some of the features doesn't have all the same features of the iPad Pro, but arguably features that maybe for a lot of people are non-essential. So to have a cheaper iPad that is arguably as powerful as an iPad Pro without some of the niceties of an iPad Pro and much more powerful than a base model iPad, I think it's a very interesting and fascinating product to release in 2020, considering all the things going on. So I'm very excited to try this out.
I think, if you wonder why people love the iPad Pro so much, or if you think, oh man, I would love to work like that, but the iPad Pro is maybe a little bit outside of my reach. Mm-hmm. This is a product that can give you basically all of the benefits of the iPad Pro. Really, honestly, this is the iPad to buy right now.
I think so.
I have always said that the 11-inch iPad Pro is the best iPad Pro for most people, right? That the 12.9-inch iPad Pro is a device that you should only buy if you know you need it beforehand, because it comes with some trade-offs due to its size and the weight and stuff like that. And that the 11-inch iPad Pro is the superior for most people in most cases. And I really think that the larger iPad Pro is a much smaller use case. But the current generation iPad Air is as good in many areas, better in some others, and depending on where you're coming from, could have, if you don't like Face ID, right, you've got Touch ID built into the power button, which is great. Now, I would say after having used Face ID on an iPad, I wouldn't want to go back to Touch ID. Because I actually prefer Face ID at the moment on my iPad to my iPhone, because I'm only using my iPad when I don't have a mask on because I'm indoors, right? But if you've not had Face ID on an iPad before, then you have you don't really have something to compare it to, so you could just keep using Touch ID and you still get all the benefit of the bigger display with the thin bezels. I think this is a very cool product, and I think the thing that is the most surprising is the fact that they put the brand new chip in this before anything else, right? And I know that this is just a set of circumstances that led to this occurring. This obviously was not the plan, but it's still kind of cool that it's happened anyway.
Something I said on Adapt, which I also want to repeat here, is that I feel like up to this day, whenever we said, the 11-inch iPad Pro is the best iPad to buy. And I think a lot of people were buying an iPad Pro, even if they were non-pros, because it was the best model, because it was the best option. Now they don't have to anymore, because the iPad Air is the best option for those people. And now, if you're a pro and you actually need an iPad Pro because of the more memory, more storage, all those other promotion, all those other features, then fine. But so it's like you're not forced to buy an iPad Pro anymore.
Yep.
And I think that's great news for a lot of people, especially if you don't want to spend X $100 more on the Pro.
The only thing the only downside for me is that it starts at 64 gigabytes.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's
unfortunate.
That's not good. Like, I'm like, what does the iPhone 11 start at size-wise now? Yeah, it also starts at 64. But I just think an iPad at 64 gigabytes, you're going to, for a lot of the uses that people have for iPads, you're going to bump into that quite fast. I would have liked to have seen them start that at 128. Like, I think it's time to move on from hard disks in Macs. It's time to move away from 64 gigabyte in iOS devices. Like, it just is. Like, there are games on Apple Arcade that are like 1.5 to 2 gigabytes.
Yeah.
Like, right. I think we spoke about this, right? Where did we speak about on this show where I basically said that I'd run out of space on my iPhone?
Mm-mm.
Was that a conversation that we had? But yeah, I've run out of space on my iPhone. And
Wait,
I had
hang on. You talk to other people?
Sometimes it's all private conversations, but I actually had to delete some stuff off my phone recently like yesterday to download iOS 14. I'm out of space on my iPhone, boys. It's bad news. It's because I keep all my photos on there, but there you go.
All right, time for my second regular pick. I said Apple introduces a new lower-end Apple Watch model in addition to the higher-end Series 6. And sure enough, there's the new Apple Watch. Yes. Thank you. There's the new Apple Watch SE.
The second thing we're doing to make Apple Watch available to even more people is to create a new model that combines elements of Series 6 design with the most essential features of Apple Watch, all at a more affordable price. We call it Apple Watch SE. Apple Watch SE has the features customers love. It has everything you need to stay connected, be more active, and keep an eye on your health. And like Series 6, Apple Watch SE uses our largest and most advanced watch display, allowing you to see so much more at a glance. More information and apps on your watch face, more in messages, calendar, and maps, and larger and easier to read metrics while you're working out. And for fast access to information and apps, Apple Watch SE uses the S5 chip for up to 2 times faster performance than Series 3. And staying connected is even easier with the cellular models, which allow you to make phone calls, send messages, and more, even without your phone. And with family setup, cellular models of Apple Watch SE will also be great for kids. Customers love using Apple Watch for fitness and working out, and Apple Watch SE has the same accelerometer, gyroscope, compass, and altimeter as Series 6. And because it has the latest motion sensors, Apple Watch SE also supports fall detection, a feature that's made a life-saving difference for many Apple Watch wearers. With all of these features and more, including the new capabilities in watchOS 7, we think Apple Watch SE will be the perfect watch for many new customers. Apple Watch SE starts at just $279.
Does it have the same chip as the Series 5, but it doesn't have things like the always-on display and the ECG? Doesn't have a bunch of features, but it's cheaper, and it's a more affordable way to get into the Apple Watch ecosystem. So I really like this addition, especially in the context of somebody who maybe wants to give an Apple Watch to a parent, for example, to an older relative, or to a child. This is a much better way. Well, maybe not to a child, because the new family stuff doesn't work on the... Does the new family stuff work on the Apple Watch SE?
It works on the SE, not the Series 3. That might be the story that you're confusing.
Right. So it works on the SE. Okay. So yeah, I think it's a great way that you can now buy a more affordable Apple Watch. Doesn't have all the fancy features, but if you wanna, especially as a gift, I think it's a very nice gift. I mean, you can get it $279 for the GPS. I mean, it's $329 for GPS and cellular. So that's a very good deal.
And if you want the family one, you have to get the cellular version.
Yes.
I think that price is too much.
You think so?
Yeah, I think $329 is too much. Well, no, I'm talking about it in the vein of the family thing, right? So, like, if the family thing with which they were positioning, I think $329 is too much.
I mean, it's still a cellular watch, though.
I know, but I think it's too much. I think it's too expensive. I mean, look, Apple have the ability to create any product that they want, right? And this is the product that they decided to make. You could have kept the LTE Series 3 around or brought that back and sold that for $250 and included that in the family plan, but they decided not to do that. I think that for what people were expecting, right? Like when we heard the rumor of there's going to be 2 watches, I think our expectation was that, well, one, I don't think anybody thought the Series 3 would stick around after we heard that rumor, and that the watch that replaced, quote unquote, replaced the Series 3 in our minds would have been towards that price. And I think that starting at the best part of $100 more, it doesn't feel like a cheaper watch. It just feels like a watch that's in the middle still. Like I'm just gonna say I don't think that this is priced very well for most people, especially in the idea of this is the watch that you buy for your 12-year-old child.
I don't know. I feel like if I had a 12-year-old and they were, constantly going like to school or to soccer practice or whatever, like it's probably an investment I would make just to feel safer myself. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I'm not saying, okay, so like in those exact set of circumstances, I would consider that. But I still think that that price is too high.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but I don't know. I tend to prefer like spending money on things that make you feel safer. I think it's always a good investment. So maybe I'm biased here because have the peace of mind of knowing that my kid is safe and I can monitor, and I have all these other features. I get it. It's not cheap. However, it's also a good investment, for your safety and for your family's safety and your peace of mind. So I don't know. I'm just saying that it doesn't feel like an absurd purchase if you're that type of parent. Maybe. I know I would be.
Yeah. Okay. I understand what you're saying. I just think I think that the pricing is very strange. It's not strange for what they're offering, but I think this lineup does not match what I thought the lineup was going to look like. The way that it seemed logical to me, anyway. I also think that like the feature differences from the SC to the Series 6 are also maybe a little wider than I expected for the difference in money. Like the SE is actually way closer to the Series 3 in a lot of areas, but it's actually further away from that in price, and it's closer to the Series 6 in price. But you, for example, don't even get the always-on display, which I think is quite a downside.
Let's take a moment and talk about the score. So right now, round 1 we all got correct. Round 2 we all got correct. So we are all tied at 2 points. So now moving into the risky picks. Mike, you're up first.
A non-pro iPad gets a LiDAR sensor. This didn't feel as risky to me. I thought I had this one locked, but I did not. I can't believe all the things that iPad Air got, and it didn't get this.
Something's gotta give, right? I mean, they were bringing all these features to the Air, and obviously they needed to cut something. And what got cut was Face ID, ProMotion, and LiDAR. So, but that's what made the pick risky, right? We knew that it wasn't going to be an exact replica of an iPad Pro. Some features were getting cut in the transition, in the trickling down from the Pro to the Air.
Yep.
Obviously, it's not like they were going to make another iPad Pro. And that's what made the pick risky. And unfortunately, LiDAR is not part of the feature set.
Nope.
Steven, what did you pick?
Oh, boy. All right.
We told you. We warned you We
I know.
told you that the rumors were saying 2021, and yet you didn't listen.
The iPad mini will be updated with a new design inspired by the iPad Pro's design. Didn't get it right off the bat. Right off the bat, Tim Cook was like,
Today, we're updating the rest of our full-size iPad lineup.
and I knew then that I had lost this one.
And my risky pick is what eventually, I guess, decided this show. I said a new Apple Watch has at least one new built-in app because of an exclusive feature not found on existing watches. And so my reasoning for this was if they're adding a new sensor for blood oxygen monitoring, there must be a way to actually see this data. And I thought when they did this before for ECG, they didn't just add more features to the heart rate application, they actually made it a separate app. And so I thought if they're going to add blood oxygen monitoring, they're also going to make an app for that. And sure enough, WatchOS 7 on that Apple Watch model has the new, what's it called? Just Blood app. That lets you, very nice looking, by the way.
Wait,
and
is
it
the
lets
app
you,
called Blood?
I think so. I think it's called Blood.
That's not
Sure.
a nice name.
Which we should double check, but I think it's,
I mean, like the other one's called ECG.
I don't think it's called Blood Oxygen.
Yeah, I think it's blood oxygen.
Okay.
It's called Blood Oxygen.
Okay. That's a bit better than just the
It's a
Blood
bit
app.
better, but still the word blood is in there.
Yeah.
Wait, is it called Blood Oxygen? Are you positive?
I tried to find this earlier and was struggling a little bit.
So Blood O2, let's see. Is there any way to
The chat room says blood oxygen is the name.
Yeah, Blood Oxygen. Okay,
Yeah,
so the new
Blood
Blood
Oxygen.
Oxygen app is
Yeah,
part
measuring
of-
your
Score
blood
found us
oxygen
the protocol.
levels with the blood oxygen app on Apple Watch Series 6. I found that too.
perfect. So there's a new app, and yeah, that was my pick. Just because I thought if they're gonna do this, it's not gonna be it's not gonna be a feature of something else. It's gonna be its own thing, and that got me the point.
I have just sent you an iMessage with a 1Password link
Thank you very much.
for the Keynote Chairman account, which you
So I
now are in
now have
control of
both.
both Twitter accounts, of
Oh,
which
I'm
maybe
gonna have-
you'll still continue to do nothing with.
No, I do. Now that I have full control over
He's
this
just been
media
waiting.
empire, I'm just gonna have conversations with myself.
But
from
you
the two
just waiting
accounts.
to consolidate power. Now you've got it all.
Learned from Berlusconi here. Just it's all
Whoa,
about control. No, that's a joke, but it's
Please, no. Please continue, Federico. I'd like to hear
it's
some more.
obviously a sad joke about the fact that Italian politics were controlled by a media mogul for many years.
Now
Very-
you control all of this, but it's
now
fine
I am in control of 2 Twitter accounts.
because I
imagine that.
don't have long. It's not long now until I seize control of the annual account from you. It's not long now.
Well, congratulations, Federico.
Yeah, congratulations,
Thank
Federico.
you.
Clean sweep.
Thank
That's the rare Ricky clean sweep. Bravo, you got all of it. No
Yeah.
coin flips, nothing.
Yeah, I got all of them, and
You got
actually,
all of
like,
them.
we're gonna look at the flexes too. That also surprising
You cleaned
results
up, my
there.
friend. I'm gonna say for someone who has had historically quite bad luck over the last year when it comes to Rickies, you did a very good job here. Very good
It's
job.
because this time I decided to care.
Oh,
Like,
don't do that.
In the
Don't do
past, I
that.
always thought,
Oh,
just
Jesus.
I'm gonna do this for fun. But then
I
you started.
thought
You,
we were going to
you
get
both,
through this.
You
but
both
no.
started doubting me
Okay.
and making fun of me,
Right,
and so that's
okay.
when I decided to play hard.
Yeah.
And these are the results.
Yeah. All right then. Well, I did have a thought to myself today. You could lose this in like
Sure.
4 weeks.
Want to see how it goes?
I was thinking about that. Like, this could be a very quick turnaround, couldn't it? We need to coin flip for second.
Yes, we do. I was getting ready to say there is a coin flip we need to do. So, Federico, you need to do the coin flip.
So let's just make sure that Siri always talks. Settings,
Stephen, I'm going to let you
Siri.
choose because I feel like I've always been the one who's chosen. So you
Okay,
can
so
choose.
while Federico is setting up Siri,
Yeah, I'm ready.
listeners should know the last two Rickies, the 2019 annual predictions and WWDC 2020, I was in a coin toss with Mike in both of them, and I lost both of those coin tosses.
Which is why I'm letting you pick.
All right.
All right. You
Should
ready,
I-
Federico?
Request the coin flip.
No, Stephen has to say first, doesn't he?
Yep. I call heads.
Okay.
Flip a coin.
Tails.
Oh. Come on.
Is it best of 3 or best of 1?
No, that's one and done.
Well, he doesn't
Jeez.
deserve this, but Steven, you lost.
What do you mean? Stephen doesn't deserve it. I thought you meant I didn't deserve it.
No, you don't deserve this.
Why?
Mike?
Why?
Well, just because, as we mentioned before, Steven had more passion in his
Oh,
picks.
Jesus.
He got a very risky second point for regular pick. So Steven deserves our respect and admiration for this loss,
He does.
which, yeah.
Stephen deserves all of our respect and admiration. But there isn't such to say that I don't deserve winning. That's not fair, I feel. But,
Well, it's not winning as much, not losing, which is different.
same thing.
No.
Same thing in this case. I won a secondary victory, which was the
Secondary victory.
Yeah.
It's a second-hand victory.
secondary
That's what you
victory given to me by the current victor. So you gave me a victory. So thank you for that.
Okay, sure. Look, you know what? I do respect your way of sneaking out of this. So
It does
Something
feel
I
like
can
something you would
respect.
respect. Yes.
it's something I would do, something I would respect. So
Yes.
yes,
That's good.
you now deserve your secondary victory.
There we
I
go.
changed my mind. It's one of my many qualities, changing my mind.
Wow.
Now, are you
So-
ready to raise the stakes?
Oh, I am.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Everyone out there's probably watched The Office. It's extremely popular. I host a podcast where I'm rewatching The Office. It's going to take 10 years. If you've seen it, you probably know that it's based on a UK series, also named The Office, also a very good show. But there are actually 9 other countries with their own versions of the show that I've never seen, you've probably never seen, because they're not available in our countries. But you can access content around the world with no geo restrictions when you use ExpressVPN. So you can get your Dwight and Jim wherever you are. ExpressVPN lets you control where you want sites to think you're located. And you can choose from nearly 100 different countries, giving you access to content that may not be available in your region. So if you like watching shows or movies, ExpressVPN is a must-have. Sometimes I set mine to Italy, and I was like, I'm browsing with Federico, you know? It brings us closer. For less than $7 a month, ExpressVPN lets you access thousands of new shows and movies on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and tons of other streaming services. And it couldn't be easier to use. You just fire up the ExpressVPN app on your computer or TV or iOS device, select your location, and hit connect. What's cool about ExpressVPN is how fast it is. A lot of VPN services I've tried, streaming high-quality video over them was just a joke. It wasn't going to happen. But ExpressVPN is incredibly fast, so you can stream that HD content really easily. So get the most out of your streaming services today at expressvpn.com/connected. If you go to that URL, you'll get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. Again, that's expressvpn.com/connected. Go there now, expressvpn.com/connected to learn more. Our thanks to ExpressVPN for their support of the show and Relay FM.
I think it's important for the flexies that we should actually restate the rules of the flexies.
Let me read those for you.
I just think it's important for this section specifically to just give a very quick restating of what the flexies are about.
Okay. Loser of the non-graded flexies must compensate the winner of the flexies by donating to their charity of the winner's choice. The amount of the donation is $25 per wrong flexi made by the loser. In case of a tie, the ratio of correct to incorrect flexies will be taken into account, and each host must make a minimum of 5 flexi picks. And this year, I did 5. No, I did 6, and the 2 of y'all did 5. So, I say we go through all the mics and then all of mine, then all of Federico's, and then we kind of regroup at the end. How does that sound?
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
I'd forgotten about the ratio rule. Interesting.
Yeah, we
so-
haven't ever had to enact that, so it may not work. We'll just find out in the future.
Probably won't.
Wait, can you repeat that actually?
Yeah, here we go.
In the case of a tie, the ratio of correct to incorrect flexies will be taken into account. Wait, if it's a
Right,
tie, that'd be the same number.
Yeah, but there's no. Wait. No, because in this case, for example, you have 6 flexies and Mike has 5.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So there is the possibility that we can't tie break, but that's a constitutional error that we'll just maybe come across at some point in the future, but not today.
Maybe not today. We'll find out. So these are my flexies. Do I want to grade them as I read them through?
Yeah, we'll give you a quick yes or no.
All right. Details of a new iPad mini.
We're updating the rest of our full-size iPad lineup. Full-size iPad lineup. Full-size iPad. Full-size.
Nope.
Someone washes their hands during the presentation.
Sadly, no.
Can't believe I didn't get that one. That one felt
No hand washing.
I was hoping for it.
like a lock to me. New non-pro iPad gets 2nd generation Apple Pencil. WatchOS 7 gets a software feature we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
There's actually lots of those, right? Like there were lots of little things.
Yeah, a bunch of watch faces we hadn't seen.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff.
And we get no specific date for iOS 14 launching during the presentation. We got that. Who marked that as red? We got that.
We got no specific date for. Yes, no, we did. They said it's launching tomorrow. Tim Cook said it
They
during the
said It's
presentation.
launching tomorrow.
Someone tried to mark me as wrong there. Ridiculous.
No, you are wrong.
Oh, sorry, I'm reading it incorrectly. Yeah.
Yeah, you are wrong.
Never mind. Sorry. I just caused PTSD for a bunch of developers. I apologize. I'm really, really very sorry about that. I got that wrong.
So 2 correct flexies, 3 wrong ones.
Yeah.
What's the ratio? 3,
Wait, what
3
is
to
that?
2.
I got what?
That's-
40%?
I think it's right to wrong, so it's 2 to 3.
right? I was 40% correct.
Sure.
40% correct.
Yeah.
Cool. Steven?
Jaws wears a non-solid color shirt.
Where was Jaws, Steven?
There was no Jaws, man.
We don't know what he was wearing. This could have been right.
Yeah, the problem is we've seen more of Craig in those 1 second
Yeah.
shots than of Jaws in those 0 second shots.
Yeah, Craig looked really stressed out, almost as if someone told him they were launching iOS 14 the next day with no warning.
Oh my God, I hadn't thought of that. That's hilarious.
You know that somebody is him, so he makes the call. So it's kind of his fault,
All right.
you know. So
My second flexi event looks mostly like WWDC, not all on stage in a theater, but using different parts of the campus or outside world. That.
Enjoy that bell.
Apple somehow sets expectations for when the iPhone will be announced.
nope.
Can't believe they didn't do this.
All they did was, today we're talking about the watch and the iPad, and just didn't talk about the phone at all.
Here at Apple, we feel a deep responsibility to keep innovating, to continue making products that enrich people's lives in meaningful ways. Today, we're focusing on 2 products that have played integral roles in people's everyday lives, Apple Watch and iPad.
They at least did that, right? Like they set it out straight away up front. But yeah, I was super surprised about that. Yeah.
As an act of courtesy up front, but yeah, they just as if it's totally normal. Why would you expect an iPhone in September?
Yeah, what's wrong with you? It's not delayed.
That's so silly.
It's not delayed.
It can't be delayed. We never said it. Well, they actually
would you-
did say.
What on earth would? Yeah, actually, they did say it was delayed.
They actually
didn't
did say
this was the one time. The one time
This
when
ac-
they did say
it actually is delayed.
Yeah,
So,
Lucas said it. He actually said it. Those were the words.
Have y'all gotten text messages from people in your life wondering why there's not a new iPhone this year?
surprisingly, no.
Oh,
no.
I've gotten one.
Okay.
But I do have a friend coming over for dinner, and she's probably like, I'm 95% positive she's gonna ask.
Yeah, if I had any conversation with someone, they would mention it, right? Like if I was like in some kind of conversation, no one's coming out of the blue and saying to me, "Where's the iPhone?" But if I was having a phone conversation or I was having dinner with someone, they would, like any person in my life, they would 100% say, "Where's the new iPhone?" Like I would know, you know.
All right. Up next for me, the removal of Force Touch in watchOS is framed as the inclusion of haptic touch.
This was a wild one.
This I still don't fully understand. I think, and I said this last week, and I'm gonna say it again. So, with this sentence, what you were trying to say is that Apple was going to talk about removing Force Touch as actually introducing haptic touch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but they actually said nothing about either of these.
Any
things.
of that? Yeah, nothing.
Just yeah. So we don't actually know because there's no. I was gonna say you probably can know from the hands-on area. There's no hands-on area. So we don't know how the thing actually if it deals any differently with long press gestures on screen, given that Force Touch is gone. Mm-hmm. I assume there's gonna be no difference from the Series 5. Mm-hmm. It's just if you install watchOS 7 on a Series 5, that's what it's gonna look like.
Yeah, because it's gone,
like.
right? Anyway,
it's gone. Well, the hardware is in there. It's just disabled now.
Yeah.
So as if it doesn't exist. So I assume it's just nothing's gonna change, and because of that, they said nothing.
That's wild, by the way. Stephen, as the resident historian, can you think of time they've done this in recent memory? Like disabled a hardware feature in currently existing products. I guess did they do it with the iPhone?
No, because if you had a Force, I'm assuming this. If you have a Force Touch, like if you have an iPhone 10 running on iOS 13, it still uses the Force and not long press.
Right.
I think maybe the Discord can help, but it's definitely super weird. Super weird.
Yeah, it's a strange thing to do.
Up next, preview of fall Apple TV content. Nothing.
No, this is too soon, my friend.
And my sixth one, so this was graded incorrectly, but I got it right, actually. Apple will not unveil additional details about the release of the first Apple Silicon Macs.
You got that right.
So I got 2 out of 6. Mike got 2 out of 5. So Mike got more right.
Now you see why my idea of the ratio was such a stroke of genius.
Yeah, because you got 33% correct.
Exactly. Because of the ratio, you lost the flexes.
Yeah, you overflexed.
Well, we don't know what yours are yet.
You overflexed, Stephen.
You overflexed.
Mm-hmm.
I guess so.
It was a weird flex, not okay in this instance.
Weird flex, not okay. So total loss. Especially that Force Touch pick.
So go down in infamy.
All right. Okay. So now we get to my flexes. Number 1, the new iPad Air supports the Magic Keyboard.
Very surprised.
Yes,
me too.
But as I said last week, they want to sell a bunch of this. They expect this iPad Air to do well, so why not make more money? And even
they just made $300 potentially more.
Yeah, and what's even more clever, they didn't even have to make a specific version for the iPad Air. You just can use the existing version for the 11-inch iPad Pro. There is no iPad Air Magic Keyboard. It's the same. It's the 11-inch iPad Pro model that you can use with the Air.
The iPad Air is slightly smaller than the iPad Pro, and it has a slightly smaller screen. But obviously, Apple built it for the dimensions that matter. So, like if you looked at if you put those two devices side by side, I'm sure that the smart connectors would be in a slightly different place, right? All of the magnets will be in a slightly different place, so it can still use the case for a product that's slightly different size. It's interesting.
Number 2, Apple launches a new subscription service for virtual fitness classes.
Introducing Apple Fitness Plus, a new service for Apple Watch designed to inspire you to get fit and stay fit. The entire Fitness Plus experience is powered by the Apple Watch in some really cool ways. Let's take a look at how it works. Apple Watch owners love seeing all of their metrics right from their wrists during a workout. The watch's sensors make it possible to see your heart rate, calories burned, pace, and distance. And that data helps keep you motivated and on track, which is awesome. With Fitness Plus, you simply choose the workout you want to do from the catalog of videos on your iPhone, iPad, or Apple TV. And when you start the video, it automatically starts the correct workout in your Apple Watch workout app. and it sends those metrics in real time right to the screen you're viewing the workout. So you have all of your data on your wrist and on the screen in front of you. And your metrics come to life to keep you motivated. For example, when the trainer reminds you to check your heart rate, your numbers get larger, making it easy to see the details you need. When you're in the middle of a tough interval, you see a countdown timer to motivate you to push through every last second. Your activity rings are also right on the screen, so you can see how your workout is helping you make progress towards closing your rings for the day. And if you happen to close one of your rings in the middle of your workout, you won't miss the celebration. You'll see it in real time right on the screen. When the workout is over, you get a comprehensive summary.
And that's Apple Fitness Plus. We sort of knew that it was coming. I noted how it was weird that in the fitness app, there were only 2 tabs at the bottom. And sure enough, that was to make room for the new tab in the middle of the screen for Fitness Plus, which looks very, very cool. And I actually want to subscribe. It looks really nice.
Really good.
They have an official Instagram account, and I've started following a bunch of the trainers.
I was doing this today. I was like looking this up because all of these people are public on Instagram, right? And it actually list their handles, so you can go and look and you can see like all of these people, what they've done before. Like this is a previous like un-Apple like thing to do, right? Because these people are effectively, I guess, kind of similar-ish to like what the music team does, like the editorial music team. But the difference, I suppose, with the Fitness Plus people is you actually see them. So they can't be that hidden. So it maybe makes more sense for Apple to allow them to be public with, I'm sure, many rules imposed upon them.
Don't take what I'm about to say in the wrong way, because of course, you know, we get to know engineers at things like WWDC and sessions, but it's almost like these are the very few people at Apple who are allowed to have a public name, in the sense that, for example, the App Store, right? You open the App Store, there's so many stories that you can read, and obviously like a person wrote those stories, but you never get to see the byline, which is a shame.
Right, but it's like saying about engineers is a good example, right? Like there are people on Twitter that we know are Apple engineers. They're allowed to say that now, but the code that they write doesn't have their name at the bottom.
Nope.
Or every app is not introduced by the person that made it. And I bet that these videos would be like, hey, I'm, Molly or whatever. I could look up someone's name.
For
I
sure.
just closed the tab. And so like this is much more of that type of model. And I was looking some of these people up. Many of these people were successful like influencers in their spaces. So I think it's really interesting. So you can follow the account, you can see everyone. It says what classes they do. I'm really intrigued by this because the implementation of Fitness Plus is a much higher level than I was expecting. Like they've done a good job. The
integration with the watch and like the different things that happen between, for example, the iPad and the Apple Watch, really, really fascinating. Number 3 is marked incorrect. However, I think it's debatable. Apple showcases at least one new feature coming in iOS or iPadOS 14.1. Now, they didn't say 14.1, so I think I'll take it as being marked incorrect. But I mean, Fitness Plus is launching with 14.1. I think that's pretty much a given. It's the next major version will introduce this.
It could be 14 point something, right? Like that's the problem. It could be 0.2 for all we know.
Because of that, I will take it as an incorrect pick. But I should have said I would have got the point if I didn't say the version number, but just say they will showcase a feature coming in a future update to iOS 14, and that would have gotten me the point. But because I overstretched, because I overflexed, saying 0.1, that doesn't get me the point. Number 4, at least one segment of the keynote is shot inside Apple's own fitness labs.
We marked this correct, but I want to talk about this.
Well,
we saw the fitness studio, but fitness lab is like where they, remember that there was that story about like fake sweat and then they dump all the watches in the water.
Well, I assume it's the same structure.
I don't know. I don't think so. Why would they have workout people in the same building as the engineers? That doesn't seem right.
Well, they do have a separate building for the fitness stuff at Apple Park. And I assume it's all in the same building, both the labs and the studio.
The thing is, it doesn't really make a difference in the scoring of this, so I guess we can just let you have it.
Okay. Well, then ring the bell.
There you
Thank
go.
you. And lastly, I said number 5, iOS 14 launches in September.
What a great day of announcements. We will also be releasing major OS updates tomorrow, beginning with iOS 14, a huge release that transforms the core experience of iPhone with redesigned widgets right on the home screen, a new way to organize your apps with the App Library, and a new and even faster way to experience apps the moment you need them with App Clips. iPadOS 14, which lets you do even more with Apple Pencil, provides huge improvements to iPad apps and takes the iPad experience even further. watchOS 7 provides a whole new way to discover and share watch faces, a new sleep app, automatic hand washing detection, and provides additional workouts and fitness metrics. And tvOS 14, which makes your big screen experience even better with improved picture-in-picture, audio sharing with AirPods, Apple Music lyrics, secure camera feeds from HomeKit, and multi-user gaming support. All of these new releases will be available tomorrow. And all of the products we announced today will ship with these OS updates.
Oh, little did you know, Federico, how September it would be.
I am so sad that I got this wrong, right. Obviously, like, I don't know, should we talk about what they've done with this iOS 14 release date?
No, let's talk. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
We will in a minute.
Let's wrap up the flexes. So you got 80% of yours correct. Big flex.
So, Stephen, I do have a charity that I would like you to donate money to. So this is a charity that I've personally donated to before. It's an animal rescue and shelter organization. It's called Fur Kids. It's a nonprofit organization that's based, I believe, in Georgia, in Atlanta, in the United States. They operate I needed to double check. I knew this, but I double checked again. They operate the largest cage-free, no-kill shelter in the Southeast for rescued cats, as well as a no-kill shelter for dogs. I donated to this organization a couple of months ago when Mr. Beast did a video on YouTube. And now I get the newsletters from them with the pictures of the rescued cats and dogs. So obviously it's something that I really care about. And I thought that this would be an ideal candidate if I were to win the Flexis and ask either of you to donate. So the website is forkids.org. You can go there, check out the photos. Really, really beautiful photos of these rescued cats and dogs.
And how much do I owe?
It's $100, right? $25 per wrong pick. You got 4 wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna do a lot of good to a lot of good boys and girls. Yes.
PayPal.
Oh, he's doing it right now.
Oh, he's doing it now.
Wow.
Doing it right now.
He's flexing the flexi.
Well, if I don't do it now, listeners, they wouldn't know that I did it. So we gotta do it on the show.
That's true. Do you want to write down the rules?
Log it into PayPal here. Yeah, you want to add to the rules that it must be paid on air?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, just let me say this: if you're a listener and you're listening to this and you're thinking, "Oh, I should get a dog," please don't buy a dog. Adopt a dog. Don't buy dogs. There's lots of good, really. I mean, I subscribe to the theory that all dogs are good dogs, so maybe I'm biased, but there's a lot of dogs that are in need of adoption. So please don't spend money on a dog. Just go to a shelter, to your local shelter or rescue place and adopt a dog. I did adopt 2 of them 3 years ago. Best decision of my life. So cannot recommend an adoption enough.
All right. My donation is complete and I got my name right. So I learned from Casey's mistakes.
That's always good. Get a name correct during a live donation.
It's done.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephen. So actually, it's nice because something good is actually coming out of all this infighting and debates over these picks. So it does make me feel better about all the sore losers like Michael, for example.
Oh my God! What about the sore winners? Where do they sit in this equation?
It makes me feel a lot better about the things that we put our listeners through, because something good is coming out of this. Don't you agree? This is a beautiful thing we've done, right?
Oh, no, I agreed up until the part where you started calling me a sore loser. Because I just felt that was unnecessary.
You thought I was going to say something nice, and then I just
thought it
ruined
was just going to be a really good thing, and then you ended up using it to take a shot at me. I think, therefore, proving the whole point of why it's a good thing, because it absolves us of all the bad that we do during these episodes.
I've gotten my confirmation email, so it's done.
Congratulations to everybody.
Thank you. Awesome.
Doing good work.
This episode of Connected is also brought to you by Readle. Readle is a maker of essential productivity apps, and they're always updating and improving their products. Over 150 million people have downloaded their apps. They're a self-funded company with 200 employees, and they started from day one of the App Store, which somehow is 12 years ago. Their apps are adding amazing widgets and support for iOS 14. Let's just talk a little bit about their apps. Documents is the super app for file action, with widgets for files and actions, picture-in-picture support on iPhone, and Scribble support on the iPad. Spark is an email client for professionals and their teams, with widgets for both email and calendar, the ability to show the most important emails or upcoming events right on your home screen, and here in a couple of days, you'll have the option to set Spark as the default email app in iOS settings, which is a very cool feature of iOS 14. They also make Calendars, a beautiful and intuitive calendar app with widgets for events and tasks, Siri shortcut support, the option to create events with your voice, and faster search for events. Now, Mike, I believe that you have been a long-time Spark user.
Big fan of Spark. Yeah, I've tried out some of the new features coming in iOS 14, and the widgets are a nice inclusion because you're able to kind of get a glance the emails that you're looking at, which is useful, right? You want to see what's at the top of your inbox, and you can actually set it so if you use the smart inbox features, you can change it in the customization as to which you want to see in that widget, which is really cool. But I am a massive fan of Spark's team features, so it's so well implemented. So I'm able to share email mostly with Carrie, my sales manager here at Relay FM, and we're able to communicate inline about emails. So like we could both be on an email chain, and we want to have a side conversation during that email chain, and we can have that conversation in Spark, and only the two of us ever see it. It's also super easy for me to share emails, delegate emails. We can even, if we want to, I haven't used this feature, but it is a really powerful feature if you do want it, to collaborate real time on email drafts as well. So if you work in a team and as part of that team you deal with email and you're finding yourself constantly talking about emails in other applications like other messaging apps, you should really try out Spark, because having all of that in line and keeping all of that history in one place is very, very powerful.
Go right now to Readle.com to check out their impressive collection of essential productivity apps. That's Readle, READDLE.com. And if you want to check out Spark specifically, you can go to sparkmailapp.com. Our thanks to Readle for their support of the show and Relay FM. All right, what's going on today?
iOS 14 is happening.
Is it? It's still not out.
Well,
it's supposed to be out today.
Can you imagine if after all of this it didn't make it today? Can you imagine that? Like after the hell that they have put developers through over the last 24 hours, if like it somehow like gets a little bit delayed and comes out tomorrow. This is a big surprise, right, Federico? I'm sure you were quite surprised.
Yes, to say the least. You can say that. I was quite surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, I sort of started accepting the fact that it was coming out in September a few weeks ago when Gurman tweeted that the new version of iOS was still going to launch in September. You may remember months ago how I was hoping that iOS 14 would launch in October, just by virtue of a simple calculation that said if WWDC was 3 weeks later than usual, therefore the new version of iOS must be 3 weeks later than usual as well. And that calculation was wrong because it was based on the wrong assumption that there's a relationship between the date of the keynote of the WWDC and the release of a new version of iOS. Obviously, this is not the case. And Apple really likes apparently releasing iOS in mid-September. So good to know for the future. Bad for this year, but good to know for the next few years for sure.
I can't get my head around why they had to do it this way. Like the 1 day notice is
disrespectful.
That's too aggressive. It's too much.
I don't understand why the new watch needs to come out this Friday. I'm sure there are financial reasons for Apple to do this.
There's no good financial reason, Federico. There really isn't.
So
this quarter is an absolute disaster because there's no iPhones in it. A week's worth of Apple Watch sales would make such a minuscule difference. I feel like this is purely a case of they were like, this is just what we want to do. I can't see any other reason for it.
Yeah.
And it's all right, you are able to do whatever you want. But, and look, the reality of it is for developers that submitted their applications last night, who went through that amount of work to make sure they got it in, it seems like by and large, most of the developers that I follow had their apps approved in time.
Sure.
So they will get out. But that's not allowing final testing against the GM.
Nope.
Which is important. Because if it wasn't important, you wouldn't have a GM, right? So I can't work out why they did it the way that they did it. The GM could have come out last week. The watch could have come out next week. I don't know why they had to. I can't work out, looking at what we are able to see, why they needed to take the route that they've taken with this. The iPhone is going to come out so much further after iOS 14. Mm-hmm. So even if you said they wanted to keep to the iOS 14 release cadence, but that also is related to the iPhone. They go hand in hand. Otherwise, iOS 14 could come out in May, whatever, right? They go hand in hand for a reason, but they're further apart than they've ever been. So it's I don't understand why they felt the requirement to put it out today. I think I said this on Upgrade. They could have put it out on Friday even, right? Why did it have to come out today? This has really rubbed me the wrong way, this thing.
You know what I really don't get is a couple of things. First, I think arguably developer relations right now are not in the best place, right? There's a lot of goodwill, you can say, that has been lost in between Apple and the developer community over the past year, with all the sort of the controversies over in-app purchases and rejections and antitrust and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So it doesn't feel like Apple is in the best position to put extra pressure on developers. As I said, it just feels kind of disrespectful to say, oh, the GM is coming out now, submissions are gonna open in a few hours and you have until tomorrow to test and finish everything. It gives the sense and the vibe that you just don't care about developers. And that's one thing. And the other thing is we remember last year, right? The mess that the iOS 13 rollout was, with, I believe, 8 software updates in just a couple of months. Something ridiculous. At some point, there was one update after another.
Well, the biggest thing, I think, even was that 13.0 ran on no existing products.
Yeah, there was that.
Right.
It was a whole mess, and everybody kept saying, why are you doing this, Apple? You did so well last year with iOS 12. What happened with 13? What's this mess? And it got so bad, and I urge you to just Google iOS 13 buggy and see some of the results from last year. Then after a few months, we got the report on Bloomberg saying Apple is changing its testing procedure for making sure that this doesn't happen again, starting with iOS 14. And now, iOS 14 is not the disaster that 13 was, but if you ask me, it's still not good enough. It's not the same quality of iOS 12, for sure. I can say that with confidence. It's not stable, it's not as reliable. Just last night, I needed to reboot my iPad because the Magic Keyboard stopped working. And I still got these random visual glitches with widgets and these random lockups on my phone and iPad. When I do things like installing apps my device locks up. Now, I don't understand, if you consider all these things, right? The relationship with developers, the fact that the iPhone is coming out later, the fact that literally nobody is saying, you have to release the watch this Friday, otherwise I'm done with you as a company. Like, nobody's saying that. What's the pressure? What's the rush? Have you learned nothing from last year? It's my question to Apple. I don't think, besides my personal bias, right, which we're going to talk about in a minute, I guess, but and trying to look at this from the outside, I mean, people are already skeptical, right, when a new software update comes out. Now you finally have a chance for the software update to take a little longer so that you can work on more bug fixes, so that you can take a little more time to polish it, to make it stable, to make it faster. And what do you do instead? Not only do you stick to your previous schedule, actually a day before, because I believe last year came out on the 17th. So not only do you stick to your schedule, but you also, as they say, stick it to developers and actually say, well, you have 24 hours. Good luck. I honestly don't get it. Kind of sounds like a joke. It feels like a practical joke at this point.
This does feel like something that John Maltz would have written 2 days ago.
Yes.
Right?
I honestly don't get it. Besides my personal issues with this, my personal problems, I genuinely don't get it. Nobody would have complained if iOS 14 was coming out on Friday. If you really wanted to come out earlier, it could have been Friday. But honestly, it could have been...
Look, if for some miraculous reason they were shipping an iPhone on Friday, I would let it go.
Yeah.
Right? I'd be like, look, something's happened. They clearly, their timing's been thrown off. They were worried about it getting out, whatever. It's an iPhone. I get it, right? And then we could have had maybe they want to make sure they get it in the financial quarter. It's the iPhone. I could have understood all of that. But to do all of this just to support the new Apple Watches, right? Because the new iPad, the iPad Air, isn't shipping next week.
Yeah, well, the boring one is. Oh, you already forgot about it.
Yeah, but that doesn't need 14, surely.
It's running on A12, and there's a iOS 13 running on the A12 architecture. It doesn't need
I can't.
14.
You decided to do this just for the it's so weird.
That's the thing. Weird. You decided to do this, obviously, in the year where everybody's feeling behind. Press people like me, and especially developers. Literally everybody feels behind. It's been a challenging year for everybody. The iPhone, you yourself as a company are behind because the iPhone is not coming out. And of all things, it's the Apple Watch that's forcing you to put this out. An Apple Watch which you chose to release now for no apparent reason other than, I guess, it's ready, why not? And if that's the reason, well, I don't know. It kind of feels like a really bad idea considering last year, and a really bad gesture toward the developer community who is already kind of not ecstatic in your regards. So I wish Apple the best of luck with this release. I don't think iOS 14 GM is in a good place. And I wish all developers, of course, the best with getting, customer support requests and all that. I don't think this will go as badly as 13, but I don't think this will go as well as iOS 12 either.
Yeah, I think 14 is in a better shape than 13.
Yes.
I'm having some small problems, but they're small for me. Everybody's it's different for everybody, right? But for me, I'm having some small issues, but nothing major.
So I guess it's just, personally speaking, of course, I think we've been over this for the past month. We've been talking about this for the past month. What happens to my review? Well, what happens is that my review is not ready because when I started working on this review earlier in the summer, I thought I was going to have my usual 100 days, right? And I was just to be completely clear and open about this, I was hoping to release this review in the first week of October, because my calculations said 3 weeks later than usual means you have until the first week of October. Now, obviously, my review is not ready right now. I don't want to wait until the first week of October if possible. But also in talking over this over the past month, I have accepted the fact that like I could rush it, right? I could put out the review if I wanted in 3 days and have a really rushed conclusion, no editing, and just a bunch of screenshots. I could do that, but that would suck and it wouldn't be my review. It would be the review that I was working on that somebody forced me to publish. But the reality is nobody is forcing me to publish this until it's ready. And so I will try my best to make it as special as possible, right? Because I feel like to an extent, I can shake the feeling that I'm letting people down in not having the review out today, right? As much as I'm trying to feel positive and understand that this is the best outcome for me, I still feel like I'm letting some people down by not giving them something to read today. And I know that people can wait, and I know I've been getting so many nice messages and I really do appreciate them. But there's a part of me that feels like that. But there's a bigger part of me that also tells me, like maybe the more rational part of me that's telling me it wouldn't be your review if it wasn't as polished as you would like it to be. And I think I'm fortunate enough to have readers who also feel that way. At least I want to believe so. So what we're doing right now is you may have seen a story, for example, today on Mac Stories about app clips. That was meant to be part of the review. It's not anymore because I thought I need to cut at least one section from this story. And I decided this last week, actually, before I even knew that iOS 14 was launching today. And it made sense to cut a feature that was mostly about third-party apps so that I could entirely concentrate on first-party built-in Apple stuff. So that has relieved me of a lot of pressure to test app clips from third parties and to write about the feature. But otherwise, I am on a tighter schedule that I hoped. And we're working with Ryan for the edits and with Brian for the graphics and the animations and all the things that make the review special, trying to be as fast as we can. But I'm still writing myself. I'm not done. And I'm writing during the day, editing at night until like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., stuff like that. And I'm, trying to get a moderate amount of sleep. And but the basic gist of it is that I wouldn't be able to live with the idea that I rushed this thing. I didn't edit it at all. I didn't put all the Easter eggs and the little touches that I like in my screenshots. So the review will come out later, not today, not next week. I don't think so. It will come out ideally this month. And I will do my best to give it, all those details and extras and perks for club members, of course, and the making of, the behind the scenes, the ebook, all those things, and even more you can expect. And because of the extra time, I can actually do something that I haven't done, which we discussed a while back, but I don't want to confirm right now, but I think I can do a little, some new extras around it. So obviously that, it also means that there's going to be changes in the overall tone of the review, right? And even the simple things like sentences where I say iOS launching today, it's not written from that perspective anymore. It has to be written from the perspective of something that has already happened, right? And also, I have to ask myself, what's the value of covering all of these third-party examples if it's going to be a couple of weeks where people have already used third-party apps for a couple of weeks?
So do you need more? Do you need less?
Do I need more? Do I need less?
Yeah,
do I need to
know.
focus on the technical aspect of them? So like you may have seen the widget, you may have seen this shortcut, but do you know why it's actually designed or built that way? So maybe that's my angle, right? Because I know, I've been talking to developers, I know why certain things have been built in a certain way. So this later release does change my plans a little from that sort of a purely editorial perspective, but not so much that I'm like, oh no, I need to change the whole thing. It's not like that. And then the review, I mean, it's possible that fewer people will pay attention to it when it's out, right? Because they'll be like, oh yeah, iOS 14, it's old news, who cares? But because it's, it's got that it's my review, it's my thoughts and my opinions and all the details that I care about. So hopefully there's going to be people who care about that unique, it's not a guide, it's not a walkthrough, it's got opinion on it. Lots of opinions actually in it. So to sum up, there's a part of me that feels bad, but there's a bigger part of me that feels kind of okay with this. Because I know that there's nothing else I could have done to prevent this. Because I'm a single guy fighting against a $1 or $2 trillion corporation who woke up one morning and decided that this was going to be the iOS 14 release date. There's nothing else I could have done. I don't want to kill myself over this, and it'll come out when it's ready.
Let me ask you something, and you may not be able to answer this until you're done with it, but it's listening to you talk about, maybe your approach this time is you've seen this, you've played with it, here are all the details that you may not know, or we can go deeper than what you may have discovered on your own. Like, I find that to be a really compelling way to read a review, or not just... when it's not just theoretical, like once I've spent some time with it and see what other people think about it. I mean, do you foresee a world where either you publish the review later than the release date in the future, or have some sort of follow-up that really focuses around, okay, now that some apps are out, now that some features are out, let's revisit some of them? Because I think that is an interesting angle to coverage that we don't see very often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to see how this goes, right? I want to see how this review is received later than usual this time, because I'm of external forces. But I want to see if maybe it could be something that I do intentionally in the next few years. Knowing myself, I don't think so. I think I will, like 2021, knowing that iOS is always going to launch in mid-September, I think I will adjust accordingly. Because this whole mess, right, was caused by two reasons. One of them just having less time, which is the primary reason. Like Apple may have started working on iOS 14, 20 days before, but I didn't. I didn't have those extra days. I was able to start testing this in late June. So I had less time than before, and also I based my work on the wrong assumption. So that's why this thing is late. But in the future, I think, even if I go back to publishing on day one, I think it is actually something that I want to do. The proper follow-up, like a month later. It's something that it's tricky to do, right? Because how do you follow up on something with just rehashing? Right? The thing you already wrote. How can you make it interesting? How can you make it fascinating? Maybe something that I could consider is doing sort of like a mini review, like another in-depth look at the first 0.1 major update, because that usually coincides with new iPhones and new hardware, and it's something that I've never done. Last year was an anomaly because in my review I covered 13.1 in addition to 13, because 13.1 was already out as a beta. But in the future, maybe that's something that I can do. I can have my review on day one, and then I can have a sort of like a mini review a month or 2 months later when 0.1 drops.
Right.
Yeah, what you want to do is give yourself more work around this time of year. There you go.
I know, but the thing is, like, as much as I complain about this, I'm still lucky that this is my job, right? There's far worse occupations in the world.
But there is also a limited amount of time that you are able to give, purely based on the fact that you lock yourself away for the best part of 3 months producing this thing. So I don't know. I see what you're saying, but I wouldn't suggest that you commit to anything based on 2020.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's an interesting idea, but I don't wanna. I don't know what to think. I mean, this thing isn't even finished, right? So, like, it's obviously not an ideal situation, and I've felt bad about it for the past month, and then it was just in the past week where I started, having the sense that this was actually happening soon. That I sort of just accepted it, and now I think I'm mostly fine. In a way, I kind of feel better that this has happened now instead of next week, for example.
The concern is gone.
But even if it was next week, if Apple said iOS 14 is coming out next week, what would have happened there is I would have rushed.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have lived the following week very well. Instead, now this is out. A lot of people are upset about it. And I am too, but it's also like it freed me from that burden of, the next week I'm going to work like 20-hour days. Instead, I can just take my time without killing myself over this. So in a way, it's actually for the best.
I think that does it.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to find links to the stuff we spoke about, you can head on over to relay.fm/connected/312. While you're there, there's some fun activities you can take part in. You can send us an email with feedback or follow-up. You can become a member and get Connected Pro, which is a longer ad-free version of the show each and every week. You can find us all on Twitter. Mike is IMYKE. Mike is the host of a bunch of podcasts. Mike, name a podcast that you're not on that's not on Relay.
No, I feel like I said that.
No, you did that last time.
Last week.
Mac Stories Unwind.
Wow, thank you.
Federico is on Twitter at Viticci, Viticci. He is the editor-in-chief of MacStories.net. I've been asking questions so everybody can get to know Federico a little better, now 8 years into this being a show.
It's time we got to know him.
Federico, what was your first concert you attended?
Concert of a single band, not like a festival type of thing.
Yeah, let's go single band.
Single band Oasis in 2005.
All right. That's very on brand.
Yeah, in Milan with my best friend from high school and my mom, who was kind enough to accompany us there, but she didn't come to the show.
You can find me on Twitter as ISMH and my writing over at 512pixels.net. I'd like to remind you that this Friday, September 18th from 2 to 8 p.m., we'll be hosting the second annual Podcastathon at twitch.tv/RelayFM, raising money for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Hope to see everybody there. I'd like to thank our sponsors for this episode, Smile, ExpressVPN, and Readle. And until next time, guys, say goodbye.
Arrivederci.
Cheerio.
Bye, y'all.